In this episode of Mrs. M's Math to the Masses in a minute or two, we'll talk about a line of symmetry or lines of symmetry as we look at several figures. So it would exist if an image reflected across it coincides with its pre-image. So let's look at some figures here on the page. If that heart were completely green and it were reflected across this vertical red line so that the green fell exactly on top of the blue, or vice versa, whichever one you started with would be the pre-image, the green heart. And when you flipped it, it would fall completely on top of the exact same shape. That red line would be a line of symmetry. Likewise, in this trapezoid figure, if you started with a completely blue trapezoid and flipped it over, you could see where the blue would fall exactly on the red. So just trying to show you situations where a line of symmetry exists. Now take a look at this, what looks to be a parallelogram. It doesn't have all the markings, but is there a line of symmetry? Could I slice it this way and land on top of itself? Well, this may fold here, but this is longer than this piece here, so it would overlap. It would not be symmetrical. What if I tried top to bottom? Again, when you fold this piece down, it would end up short, and this would overlap. There is no line of symmetry for this figure. What about this versus this? Those are free drawn, so I was just trying to give a good example. It's not perfect. But you should be able to see in this uppercase B, since the top is smaller than the bottom, it would not work to do this because it would not fall exactly on top of itself. It would not work to do this because the shapes are completely different. This would not work because the curves would not line up with the straight edge. But this does look like you could fold it on top of itself and it would match, creating a line of symmetry. So a figure has symmetry if there is a transformation of the figure such that the image coincides with the pre-image, which means it matches the angles, the sides, the shape exactly. A figure has a line of symmetry or reflectional symmetry if it can be reflected across a line so that the image coincides with the pre-image. The line of symmetry, also called the axis of symmetry, divides the figure into two congruent halves.